shit. I'm on the corner of Church and 3rd Avenue. Nobody knows what's up. A building's down though. Just blew up and anything stupid like a terrorist attack. Merry Christmas 2020.
Oh my gosh.
Here's some of the maps and other stuff from the city that I found of the area. It was downtown. Merry Christmas morning, and there was an explosion in Nashville this morning. One of the things, as you saw, I put all the footage together. One of the things that I found very interesting is that one of the guys who was there, who brought a lot of footage together, this video here.
Hello everyone. I just wanted to do a very quick video to say that I'm okay. I survived the explosion on 2nd Avenue, Ground Zero.
We're more interested in commenting about his shirt than in saying glad you didn't die or thank you for the footage. Take a look at just a couple of the comments under his thread. Yeah. What do I want to talk about? Just real quickly, what happened. You know, we are so far, this probably happened a little after daybreak. The last hour plus I've been working on the footage. By the time this is edited and uploaded, we'll see, maybe there'll be details released that I don't have right now. But at this point, they are saying nothing, except that it was a van, an RV that exploded. 3 cars total were on fire from the explosion. One building was fucked up pretty bad. Not completely razed, but damaged pretty significantly. And then I had 2 different claims as far as what happened to people there. One was that 3 people were injured, but that they were not injured critically, and then somebody else said that some people were killed. So that person could have just been running their mouth or guessing, or they might know something that they don't want released to the media yet, because, you know, that's how these investigations go. They don't let you know any good details in real time because they want to solve the crime. So, who did it? According to Twitter, the Twitter mob is on top of, it was definitely the right wing. So, let me show you some of these tweets. There's a lot of them, and I'll So we got 3 choices for who did this. Accident is not a choice because cars don't explode this way. Was it the right wing? Well, first of all, with the right wing, it's very unlikely they would do it on Christmas. It's also very unlikely that they would do it and not leave clues around to implicate the left wing, quite honestly. Or clearly claim it if they're like white nationalists or something like that. So I know that Twitter wants to blame the right wing, but it just doesn't pan out as much to me. And then the left wing. There are a lot of reasons that the left wing might have done this, whether it was someone as amateur as Antifa or someone more like an actual terrorist group. Well, I mean, Antifa is a terrorist group, but an actual terrorist group like an ISIS. It's possible. And a couple of people were saying, well, why in Nashville? Dude, because it's exactly why in Nashville. Why New York? Why Chicago? You want to go to a city where that isn't expected. You want to have the most impact. You go to an area where they don't, this is how, just let me say this. This is how they fucked this country up on September 11th. They got everybody so scared all the time that there was going to be another terrorist flight, or that the terrorists were going to take a plane, that they created the TSA and the Patriot Act. And look at the ripple effects that had through our country. Fucking incredible. And it's the same thing with a terrorist attack. I mean, you could attack New York and people will still say, I'm sorry, oh, that sucks, sorry, you guys, hope New York's good. But in the end, a lot of them will be thinking in their head, yeah, but that's New York. I mean, you go after Milwaukee, you go after Cleveland, you go after Nashville, you go after, Tulsa. That makes a lot more sense. That's a good way to instill a shit ton more fear. I mean, you couple that with the COVID stuff, there's a lot of reasons to give people to not leave their houses right now, right? So, left wing, I mean, why? Make Trump look bad? Sure. Like the tweet said, to further perpetuate Trump's America, it's divided, violent, racist, that kind of thing, sure. But I think everybody's missing the most obvious thing, and that is that since it was an RV, it was a meth lab. I mean, why wouldn't it be a meth lab? Meth labs explode. And they're nasty. Now, why would a meth lab be parked in, I think that's by their downtown? Wherever it is, it's definitely not a rural area out in the middle of nowhere where nobody would see them. You're cooking meth there, it's going to smell, people are going to notice. But then again, COVID, nighttime, if they're there all night cooking some fucking meth, they left the RV, took the meth with them, planning to come back, and as many meth cooks are, they're fucking sloppy. They left something going and boom. That's possible. The only thing that takes away from that as the most likely is that is the kind of thing that the on-scene investigators, even now being only 3 and plus hours later, they would already have some indication of that, and they would probably be leaking that to the press. If we take that, it's definitely not an accident. If we take a meth lab or something like that off of the table, then the only thing left is an intentional attack from either the left wing or terrorists or the right wing. I mean, the only other thing that implicates it, might make it look more like right wing, is because no one was hurt. So what does that mean? Well, because, a lot of right wing people are pissed off, but they're not pissed off to the level of just starting to kill people left. That's more where the left is at right now. That's the only other thing that really would, to me, implicate more so right wing than somebody like ISIS. But I just don't see it. I mean, if the right wing is if somebody in the right wing, whether it's a militia or a mega person, or even further right wing, like a, white nationalist, why would they do it now? Just wait like 2 weeks. Especially since after, if Biden takes office, assuming after that, even less people will be out, even less witnesses and stuff, because he's going to encourage governors to do more lockdowns. So even better chance to get away with it. But that's what we got so far. It is definitely curious, though, that there's not one kernel of information yet leaked from the investigative agencies. It's ATF, FBI, local police, sheriffs. They said the CIA was looking at it too, which I don't know how that person who said that can substantiate that, but the CIA doesn't check that kind of stuff out as policy. The FBI would have had to ask them to, or they would have to suspect that it was some kind of terrorist attack. So, the only other thing of note is the stuff that was on those streets. Looks like the vehicle was parked outside of the AT&T building, which somebody had said AT&T is owned by CNN. I don't know how far they're drawing those dots to connect them. There were obviously a couple of residential units there, lofts, whatever they were. I know there's a Hooters there. Other than that, I'm going to check to see the other businesses, but I mean, politically motivated, you're either going to go for people because you want to terrorize people, or you go for a government building. So that's why it just, again, right wing just doesn't make any sense. Oh, I almost forgot. The most interesting part of this entire thing is that the mayor of Nashville, just watch what he does.
Thing and make sure that, this is the only explosion that's going to The dramatic thing, if you were closer, is the broken water mains do lend a certain drama to the scene, for sure. So all that, it's again, it's a hard thing, but that's why I'm feeling calm. Well, we are in a famous place, and everything, and make sure that.
This area must be evacuated now. If you can hear this message, evacuate now. If you can hear this message, evacuate now.
Shots fired in the downtown area, specifically 2nd and near Commerce. Has also responded, they encountered an RV that had a recording saying that a potential bomb would detonate within 15 minutes. Officers, upon hearing that, decided to evacuate the buildings nearby. So they began knocking on doors, making announcements, having emergency communications, communicate with everyone to get people safe. Shortly after that, the RV exploded. We had one officer that was knocked to the ground. Another officer is fine.
Number of people working right now on Christmas Day running leads throughout the city from our police department, the FBI, ATF. Answers will be forthcoming. We can't discuss those with you now or exactly what we're looking at, but answers I'm sure will be forthcoming.
Don, was there a body found?
I have no information about any body being found. We do not know whether anyone was in the RV when it exploded. We do not know whether anyone was in the RV when it exploded. So I can't tell you at this point whether there's a potential for a fatality in that scenario.
The megaphone that was warning people to leave, do we know if that was coming from the truck? Was it coming from somewhere else? Do we know?
It is believed it was coming from the RV.
Coming from the RV?
Yes.
A recording, or was it someone saying?
There were announcements coming from the RV, and that's the extent of what we can say at this point.
Is there any surveillance footage that police are investigating right now?
There are cameras throughout the downtown area. Yes, we have been reviewing downtown cameras, and that is all part of the totality of the investigation.
Gunshots that I heard, because we don't live near either 2nd Avenue or 1st Avenue. We're in the middle of the building. So I was perplexed, but thought, maybe it was somebody slamming doors or something. But then about 10 minutes later, there was a whole nother round of guns fire, this time more gunfire and louder. And we got scared and got up out of bed and barricaded our door to our apartment. And then about 15 minutes later, again, there was a whole nother round of gunshots. This time, it was way, way more gunshots. The first time, it was 3 shots. The second time, it was 5 shots. The third round, it was probably about 10 or 15 shots. And we were petrified. We were sitting in our apartment with the door barricaded, with the lights out, not talking because we were scared to make noise. And then about 20 to 30 minutes later, the cops somehow had gotten into the building and started pounding on the doors, alerting all his residents to get out of the building and to leave on the back side, 1st Avenue, not to go near 2nd Avenue. And they didn't tell us what it was. Our car was parked over on the other side of the gulch, and we went over and got our car and was sitting in our car not knowing what to do. And at that point, we had been sitting in the car for about 10 minutes, and then our whole car shook, and it felt like a bomb went off, and we looked over towards 2nd Avenue from the Gulch, and like we saw like flames and like sparks, and like you could see the not only the smoke, but you could see like the explosion sparks fly up into the air, probably 300.
Number of people working right now on Christmas Day running leads throughout the city from our police department, the FBI, ATF. Answers will be forthcoming. We can't discuss those with you now or exactly what we're looking at, but answers I'm sure will be forthcoming.
Don, was there a body found?
I have no information about any body being found. We do not know whether anyone was in the RV when it exploded. We do not know whether anyone was in the RV when it exploded. So I can't tell you at this point whether there's a potential for a fatality in that scenario.
The megaphone that was warning people to leave, do we know if that was coming from the truck? Was it coming from somewhere else? Do we know?
It is believed it was coming from the RV.
Coming from the RV?
Yes.
The recording, or was it someone saying?
There were announcements coming from the RV, and that's the extent of what we can say at this point.
Is there any surveillance footage that police are investigating right now?
There are cameras throughout the downtown area. Yes, we have been reviewing downtown cameras, and that is all part of the totality of the investigation.
Currently, what we have going on now is we have K9 dogs. All of them are out, partnering with Tennessee Highway Patrol, our federal partners, and we're sweeping the downtown area just as a precaution to make sure that everyone is safe and that, any service that needed, we can provide that. And so with that said, we don't feel there's any concern in the downtown area of anything else right now, but we are doing it as a precaution.
This is the only explosion that's going to happen in Nashville today.